Life's gonna hit you hard. It will challenge you, knock you down, and sometimes it'll feel like everything you've worked for is slipping through your fingers. But I'm telling you, when that door slams in your face, don't you dare think it's the end. No, that's not how it works. Because here's the truth, God opens another door. You might not see it right away. You might feel lost or confused, but trust Him. He's got you. Even when the path ahead is unclear, He's working on something bigger for you. The setback. It's not your ending, it's your setup for a greater comeback. Now, you've got to trust Him. Trust in the process. Trust in your journey. Trust that you're not alone in this fight. Don't let fear or doubt cloud your vision. Every door that closes is an opportunity for a better one to open. You've got the strength. You've got the courage. And if you hold on to that faith, if you trust Him, you will walk through that new door stronger than you've ever been. Trust the process. Not every step in life will be clear, and that's okay. You're going to face moments where things don't make sense, where the path ahead seems uncertain, and where the destination feels unreachable. But trust me when I tell you this, there is power in the process. Trusting the process is not just about believing that things will work out. It's about knowing deep down that every twist, every turn, and every obstacle is part of a bigger picture that you might not fully understand right now. Here's the truth, life isn't always a straight line. It's filled with bumps, detours, and closed doors. But when you trust the process, you stop chasing after the immediate answers and start focusing on the growth that comes with every step you take, no matter how small or frustrating it may seem. Too often we want to control everything. We want to know exactly what's coming next. And we want the answers to fall into place the moment we ask the question. But life doesn't work like that. It's in the uncertainty, in the waiting that you build strength, resilience, and character. And those things, they can't be bought or rushed. They come through living, through trusting the journey, and through holding on to faith, even when the answers aren't immediately apparent. Now, I know that trust in the process can be difficult. It's hard to stay calm when things are falling apart around you. It's hard to trust when the path feels like it's getting steeper, when you feel like you've hit a dead end. But here's the thing, the path you're walking is meant for you. Even in those moments when you don't see how it's all going to come together, you have to believe that God has a plan for you. He's not bringing you through this for nothing. He's not leaving you hanging. The process you're going through right now is leading you somewhere greater. Think about it, when you're in the middle of something difficult, you might not see the reason for it. You might be wondering why it's happening to you, why you have to go through this particular struggle. But if you zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture, you'll realize that every struggle, every hardship, every challenge is building you into the person you need to become. It's shaping you, molding you, teaching you lessons that you can only learn by walking through the fire. And when you trust the process, you start to see that everything happens in its own time. Sometimes we want things to move faster. We want our dreams to become a reality right now. But just like a seed needs time to grow into a tree, your dreams need time to take root and flourish. There's a purpose in every season, and not all seasons are meant for growth in the way you might expect. Some seasons are meant for preparation. Some seasons are meant to teach you patience. Some seasons are meant to strip you of what you think you need so that you can be ready for what's coming next. The key is to stay faithful through it all, to continue moving forward even when you can't see the finish line. You don't have to have all the answers, but you do need to trust that each step you're taking is part of God's plan for your life. He's not leading you to a place that won't serve you. He's not guiding you into a storm just to leave you stranded. No, every step is purposeful. Every experience is a lesson. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. In fact, sometimes we need to go through the hard stuff to become the person we're meant to be. We need the pain, the setbacks, the failures, the rejections. They shape us in ways we can't always see. They prepare us for the future, even when we can't imagine what that future will look like. You see, trusting the process is about letting go of the need to control the outcome. It's about surrendering to the idea that there's something bigger than you at play. And sometimes that means letting go of your timeline. Maybe things aren't happening as fast as you want them to, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. It doesn't mean it's not working. God has a plan, even if you don't see it yet. There's a reason for where you are right now. And even if you don't understand you fully, you need to trust that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. Trust that the pieces are falling into place, even when they don't seem to fit together. Trust that there's a bigger picture being painted, one that you can't yet see but will make sense in due time. So, what do you do while you're in the middle of it? You keep going. You keep taking the next step even when it feels hard. You keep putting in the work even when you don't see immediate results. You keep trusting that God is walking beside you, guiding you, and leading you towards something greater than you can imagine. Because when you trust the process, you open yourself up to the possibility that things could be even better than you planned. You free yourself from the pressure of trying to force outcomes, and you allow space for God to do His work in your life. You trust the journey, no matter how winding, because you know that in the end, it will take you exactly where you need to be. Embrace setbacks as setups. A door closing is simply making room for a bigger, better opportunity. Don't get discouraged. Life doesn't always go the way we plan. Sometimes we put in the hard work, do everything right, and still face setbacks. We experience rejection, failure, and doors that slam in our faces when we least expect it. And in those moments, it's easy to feel defeated. It's tempting that we've been overlooked, that we're not good enough, or that the universe is against us. But here's the truth: setbacks are not the end of your story. They are not signs that you're failing. They're simply setups for something greater that's coming your way. A door closing doesn't mean your journey is over. It means God is clearing the path for something bigger, something better, something that's aligned with your purpose. When we face setbacks, it's easy to get stuck in the emotions of frustration and confusion. We might question why things aren't going the way we expected, or why things seem to be falling apart. But we have to remind ourselves that every setback is a redirection. Every time a door closes, it's because God is preparing us for something else. We might not understand it in the moment, but we have to trust that there's a greater plan in motion. Think about it. How many times have you heard stories of people who experienced rejection or failure only to later realize that those setbacks led them to something even better? It could be a career opportunity that came along after a job loss, a relationship that blossomed after a painful breakup, or a dream that was finally realized after years of struggle. What seemed like a setback at the time was actually the universe or God redirecting their path to something better, something that they were meant to have all along. This is the key to embracing setbacks, understanding that they're not a sign of defeat, but a redirection toward a bigger, better opportunity. When you can change your perspective and view a setback as a setup, you stop seeing it as a failure and start seeing it as part of your growth. The key is not to get discouraged. Yes, it hurts when things don't go your way, but that doesn't mean you've been left behind. That doesn't mean the world has turned its back on you. In fact, it could be the opposite. It could be that the door that closed was never meant for you, and what's waiting on the other side is something that will align more closely with your purpose, your strengths, and your destiny. We often think that we know what's best for us, that we have a clear vision of where we want to go and how we want to get there. But the truth is, sometimes our vision is limited. We might not see the full picture, but God does. He sees the future we can't yet comprehend. And when we face setbacks, it's because He's protecting us from something that wouldn't serve us in the long run. Maybe the job we wanted wasn't the right fit, or the relationship we invested in wasn't meant to last. Maybe the dream we had wasn't aligned with who we are becoming. But the beautiful thing is that when we allow God to guide us, He opens the right doors at the right time, even if we can't see it yet. When you embrace setbacks as setups, you shift from a mindset of defeat to a mindset of growth. You stop feeling sorry for yourself and start asking, what is this moment teaching me? What am I meant to learn from this experience? Every setback holds a lesson, even if that lesson is simply about resilience or patience. Maybe the lesson is about learning to trust God more deeply, or learning to trust yourself and your ability to rise above challenges. Every challenge you face, every setback you experience is a stepping stone to your future. You just have to trust that you are being prepared for something bigger and better than you can imagine. This doesn't mean you won't feel hurt or disappointed when a door closes. Of course you will. It's natural to grieve the things that don't work out as you hoped. But what matters most is how you respond to that setback. Do you let it define you? Do you let it hold you back, make you feel small, or convince you that you're not capable? Or do you rise, dust yourself off, and look forward to the new opportunities that are on the horizon? Because when one door closes, another one opens. And it's often through the hardest moments of our lives that we find the courage to step through that new door and discover the opportunities that were waiting for us all along. So when you face setbacks, don't get discouraged. Don't lose heart. Embrace the fact that it's all part of the process. Trust that every rejection, every failure, and every door that closes is simply making room for a bigger, better opportunity. God has a plan for you, and He knows what's ahead, even if you don't. He's never going to let you fall without catching you. He's never going to leave you stuck in a situation that's not meant for you. So keep moving forward, keep trusting the journey, and know that what's waiting on the other side of those closed doors is far greater than you could ever imagine. You are not alone. Trust that God is with you every step of the way, guiding you toward what's next. In the toughest moments of our lives, it's easy to feel isolated. We face challenges that seem too big to overcome. And we wonder if we're in this battle alone. We may question where God is, why things aren't going our way, or why we're being asked to walk through difficult seasons. But the truth is, you are never alone. Trust that God is with you every single step of the way, guiding you toward what's next. This may seem hard to believe when you're in the middle of pain or uncertainty. When the weight of life's struggles feels like it's too much to bear, it's easy to feel like you're walking this road on your own. But the reality is that God is always with you, even when you can't see Him, even when you can't feel Him. He's right there by your side, walking with you, guiding you, and loving you through every trial you face. Think about it, life is filled with unexpected twists and turns, and sometimes it feels like the world is against us. We struggle with relationships, we deal with loss, we fight battles in our careers, and we face personal challenges that make us feel small. But in those moments, it's important to remember that God hasn't left you. He hasn't abandoned you. He's not standing at a distance, watching from afar. He's walking with you through the pain, holding you up when you can't stand, and guiding you through every storm. You see, God doesn't promise that life will be easy. In fact, He tells us that we will face trials. But He also promises that He will never leave us. In Isaiah 41:10, He says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." These words aren't just comforting, they're a reminder of the truth that God is by your side no matter what you're facing. Even when you feel like you're walking through the valley, you're not walking alone. When you trust that God is with you, you can face the unknown with confidence. You can step into the next season of your life with courage because you know that God is already there, preparing the way for you. He's not just a passive observer in your life, he's an active participant. He's guiding your steps, aligning circumstances in your favor, and opening doors that only he can open. You might not always see how things will unfold, but you can rest in the knowledge that God sees the bigger picture, and he's leading you toward what's next. Trusting that God is with you also means trusting in his timing. We often want things to happen on our schedule, but God's timing is perfect. There are moments when we feel impatient, when we want to rush ahead or take matters into our own hands. But when we trust that God is with us, we can surrender our need for control and allow his timing to unfold. We don't have to rush. We don't have to force things. We can trust that he is preparing us, preparing the right opportunities for us and guiding us to the place where we need to be. In the moments of doubt or fear, remember that God is with you. His presence is a constant. You may not always feel him physically, but he's working in ways that you can't always see. He's strengthening you when you feel weak, comforting you when you're hurt, and encouraging you when you feel like giving up. His love never fails and his guidance never falters. It's also important to remember that being with you doesn't just mean being there in the easy moments. God is with you in the hard moments too. He's with you in your struggles, in your fears, in your pain, and in your doubts. You're not walking through these challenges alone, no matter how it feels. God is holding you, carrying you, and protecting you through every step of the way. When you trust that he is with you, you find peace knowing that you don't have to carry the weight alone. This truth also means that when you face moments of uncertainty, you can move forward with confidence, even when the next step is unclear. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to know exactly how things will turn out. You just need to trust that God is with you and that he's guiding you. His presence brings clarity in confusion, comfort in distress, and direction in times of indecision. You can take the next step even when it feels scary or uncertain, knowing that God is holding your hand and leading you in the right direction. So what does it look like to trust that God is with you? It looks like letting go of fear and embracing faith. It looks like surrendering your plans and trusting that his plans are better. It looks like stepping out in boldness, knowing that no matter what comes your way, God is right there with you, guiding you through the highs and lows of life. You are not alone. No matter what you're going through, no matter how difficult the road ahead seems, God is with you. He's walking beside you, leading you and loving you through every moment. Trust him. Trust that he's guiding you towards something greater, something beautiful, something full of hope. The journey may not always be easy, but you don't have to walk it alone. God is with you every step of the way.